Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast, which I believe is most of you. I'm here out west. My name is Julius, and with me online are two of our sales executives, Joy Walsh and Andrew Boyce. I will be introducing them in just a moment. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy during these strange times. Strange times that have forced all the trade shows you might be attending soon to be canceled or at least postponed. The cancellations did make it hard for you to stay up to date on new products, systems, and just general ideas in your industry. So to help you out, we decided to host this virtual trade show to give you an overview of some key products, as well as a sneak peek into future ones. Okay, so we will be having several Q&A sessions. So to ask questions, please use your GoToWebinar control panel. It should look like the one you see on my slide here. You can ask questions throughout the webinar as they pop into your head. We will save them for the sessions or for the very end. To hide most of the GoToWebinar control panel, please click the little arrow on the top left. Just as you'll see in the agenda, we will have we'll be showing you a couple of videos, but we will have a lot of time for questions. So make sure you add those questions to the panel, and I will read them out loud for our presenters here. All right, so like I said, my name is Julius Walczynski. I'm the marketing automation specialist here at Safely Sound. And with me on the line are Joy Walsh and Andrew Boyce. Hey, guys.
Hey, Julius. Thank you
Hi,
so
everyone.
much. Guys, thank you. Thanks for joining us today. We'll get this first out of the way, but anyone worried about any physical distancing of today's show, do not worry. Joy and I are well over 2,000 miles apart. You could say if we're in a big conference hall, we'd be at the complete opposite sides of the booth. The nice thing about this kind of virtual show is, there's no longer any more long lines for registration. Unfortunately, though, I can see the bus dealers at the back of the room, and they got their tasty box lunches for all of us to enjoy here. So go grab a treat, take a seat, and we'll get started shortly. I will acknowledge too we're sharing the room, our Mid-Atlantic friends. We're sharing the room today with the southeastern states, and that gets me all kinds of fired up. Anyone in the Mid-Atlantic will tell you guys I'm a big sports fan. I have a lot of respect for Coach Saban, Coach Orgeron, and I'm really, really excited about the Egg Bowl, the future of the Egg Bowl in Mississippi. I think that's going to be a great rivalry game. I also am a big chess fan. You'll probably catch me in the hotel lobby after the show today playing a game. Of course, I'll be playing that game virtually. But really, really what me and Joy want is for all of us today to have an enjoyable trade show. Whether it's our first or our second, or Lord help you, if it's your 50th virtual trade show, we really want you to enjoy it just like you would in person. We're hoping to give you and equip you some of the tools to be solution oriented today, and for when we all dive back into what looks to be our new operations future. Joy, you got the chance to host the video portion of today's show. What pieces are you most excited for our guests coming here all the way from the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast states?
Hi, Andrew. Thanks. First, I'll just quickly introduce myself, and then I'll tell you a few things about what I am most excited about. And there definitely are some tidbits there. But for those that may not know me in the Southeast, I do know quite a few people, as I've been looking after Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina for 8 years now. And I almost hesitate to admit that I've been in the industry for probably over 20 years, but really, who's counting? And Andrew, on the box lunch note, I just want to point out that I don't know how many box lunches we typically do in the Southeast. It's more like the good fried food and fried shrimp. So I miss everybody, and I miss the food, and I wish I was there with you. And I want to thank everyone for jumping on the virtual tour bus. And the environment is challenging. Cabin fever has set in for me. So my best advice for that to everyone is what I recently did was took up some physically distanced sport fly fishing. So I don't know how sporty I am at it. I'm still learning. And if anyone's typing in the question if I have caught a fish yet, no, I haven't. But I look at it more as a good excuse to put off all those home projects that never ever seem to end. So thank you everyone again for joining us here. And to your question, Mr. Andrew, let's see. So I have to go back and, you know, I had the pleasure of being able to host and actually be filmed on camera for this virtual trade show. So I'm really looking forward to see what everyone thinks of it. Be gentle on me. But some of the products that we talked about, there's probably two that stand out for me. And then there was something else that really stood out that we weren't able to bring to the virtual trade show, but given the current changing environment, I'll touch on that a little bit. So one of the things you'll see today, that's one of my favorites, is the PSA, which means the predictive stop arm. And I like this solution quite a lot because it's a game changer in the industry when it comes to the dangers of stop arm violations, and that it proactively warns students in advance when a stop arm violation is about to occur. So it buys them some time to step out of harm's way. And that is absolutely critical. And you'll be able to learn and see a little bit more about how that works and what it looks like. Second thing is the fleet inspection tool. And this is very new for Safe Fleet, Sayon, and that it's a new way for drivers to actually inspect their buses using a tablet. But what I really like about this is that it's a multifunctional tablet. So it's not just, or doesn't just have to be dedicated to fleet inspections. It can be used also for other things like driver navigation, time and attendance, and even parent notification, which I know a lot of folks are interested in. So it just helps to add on a little extra value with an existing solution. And the one that I was mentioning that we didn't get to bring to the virtual trade show, this is probably my favorite to date, and it's just because of the new challenges that districts are facing. And I happen to, you know, on my end, I see something else kind of trending in the industry and being able to extend the learning environment. And that's something new that's across the board, and it's a topic that comes up often, and I'm getting a lot of phone calls about it. So what it is that's the Smart Reach Cellular. Okay, that's what we call it, Smart Reach Cellular. And it's an all-in-one device that can provide wireless video download, live GPS, live streaming, and even the mobile hotspot. Okay, it can even facilitate the student tracking and parent notification applications if you wanted to add some scalability to that. So while it sounds complicated, it's really a very simple device, but it does a whole lot for changing the way the school buses are rolling and kids are able to connect.
Joy, I love that fly fishing tidbit. I think our guests from the Mid-Atlantic you just went up 10 cool points in all their books for that. That's a great story, and I'm really excited to see, you know, for our customers here with us today to see where we're going with our playback software. It was already so intuitive and easy to use, and the new version with Evidence Manager, where they're all going to see even bigger improvements. I think they're going to be really excited on that part too.
Very true. Very true.
All right, yeah. So thanks for that intro, guys. So let's get right to it. So I'll quickly go through the agenda. The first two bullets you see there, the camera surveillance and the predictive stop arm, they will be featured in the first video that we'll show you. The video will be about 7 minutes long, and you'll see Joy and two of our other colleagues on the video. Then we'll stop and we'll take about probably 5 minutes for the first Q&A session and a little poll that we hope you guys can fill out for us. So write in your questions as they pop into your head, right? You don't have to wait till the end of the video to type them in. Just write them in right away. Then after that first 5-minute break, we'll have the second video, which is quite a bit shorter. It's only 3 minutes. That's when we'll talk about the pre and post inspection app and the evidence manager. Then another quick Q&A session, another 5 minutes. Then we'll wrap things up officially. But really, by that time, probably half an hour will have passed. We'll just stay till the top of the hour. If you guys have other questions, great. We'll stay till the top of the hour to answer them. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure for all our guests today, those question times, really that's an integral part to every trade show. So I don't know, Joy, if you're wearing your Seon polo, I am. A little nervous too, so I'm already sweating. It's just like a normal show. Ask us those tough questions. Joy, like Joy said, she's worked here 11 years. Ask those tough. ask us those tough questions. We'd be happy to get the real in-person engagement going as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes my job as a questions moderator quite a bit easier. I just let everything through. Awesome. Okay, guys, so I will queue up the video here. Just give me a second. So once the video starts running, we will all be on mute. And yeah, and then so you'll hear back from us in about 7 minutes when the video is done. Here we go. All right. Okay, so that was the video. Let me go back to showing my screen. Oh, yeah, you should be seeing that. So now let's get to your questions, and there's a few on here already. But before we do that, I am going to ask everybody here a question. I'm going to launch a little poll. Just give me a second. There. So you should be able to see this poll on your screen, and you can interact with it and click right there. How old is your current video system? 0 to 2 years old, 3 to 5 years old, 5 to 10 years old, 10 years or older, or not sure. So maybe we'll leave this poll question up here while we answer the first question or two from the audience. All right. So first question, Joy. Thanks for presenting the predictive stop arm in the video. There's a couple of questions about the PSA here, actually. The first one is, do the radar sensors pick up motorcycles driving by as well, or maybe even a bicycle?
Funny enough, yes, it actually does. Well, it's not really funny enough because motorcycles are a threat, but you wouldn't think that a bicycle would. What's interesting, it would actually even pick up a skateboarder if they were going fast enough. So, yes, it's really, you know, any kind of threat that would pose a speed threat to the pedestrian or the children.
Right. If I recall correctly, one of our colleagues who was demoing this system live at a trade show last year, she said that it would even sometimes, not always, but sometimes pick her up when she ran by it. I think it's like if anything is going over 8 or 9 miles per hour, it will pick her up.
I wish I could run that fast.
Yeah, and I think she did it in heels and a business skirt too, which was quite impressive.
I couldn't do that. That's too much.
All right, and the next question, also about the predictive stop arm, so also to you, Joey.
Sure.
Does the bus need to be in park for the predictive stop arm alert to sound, or does it just need to be stopped?
So it doesn't necessarily have to be in park. It operates in two different modes. So there's a predictive mode and a monitoring mode. So it really is dependent on which stage the bus is at and whether it's going to put it into a predictive or monitoring mode. So it's dependent on whether the stop arm is deployed. If the doors are open, then it's definitely in an active predictive mode. But say, for example, if the flashing lights are on or the ambers or reds, it might just be sitting in a monitoring mode to determine what oncoming traffic is, because you want to minimize any false alarms from happening. So it's really mostly the predictive mode that you're looking for.
Excellent. Thank you. Andrew, a question for you about the wide-angle camera. Do you need a wide angle on both sides of the bus, even on, or I guess specifically asking about larger buses?
Yeah, it is recommended on a larger scale bus, higher passengers, to have both sides of the vehicle being used for your mounting positions of the wide angle cameras. However, I've seen it done stacked down one side, and that looks just fine too. Coverage is something that is good to find what works for you, and we'd always be happy to offer our expert advice on where to mount your cameras.
Right. I believe on our website we have pictures of what can be seen through the camera, and yeah, even just on one side, you can see front to end of what seems to be quite a long bus. I imagine a second camera would help, especially if it's maybe a little bit staggered front to back. But even with one camera, the high definition ultra wide angle, you can see the entire bus from front door to the emergency rear exit.
Julius, I got to take you on my my visits. You sold that to me pretty good. That's right. You're a natural, man.
Oh, hey.
Go.
I do work for marketing, right? So, okay. Question here from this looks like from South Carolina. So let's send that to you, Joy. How is installation managed as far as cost and time frame after purchase?
Ooh, good
So the
question.
actual that is very good. The installation is managed basically by a contracted installer who's certified to do the installations. And we reach out, identify or let them know that the installer is on their way. And the cost side of it really is dependent on how many vehicles are being installed at one time, and how many cameras, or if there's any other equipment such as wireless for a wireless video download or live GPS or anything like that. So we can price that out and quote it based on what the recommendations are.
Yeah, and can I add on to that, Joy? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
I think one thing we like to do as a company too is support local technicians, right? So we always try to pull from that immediate area where the installs to take place. We try to partner with the best of the best, like you said, certified technicians, because they have to go in and do the utmost professional job, which we've always prided ourselves on doing a very good job with in both our territories.
Very true.
Okay, I'm going to close this poll here and I will share the results. And as you can see, well, this is a little bit surprising. 39% of you are actually not sure how old your system is. The next most popular result is 28% 5 to 10 years old, 17% 3 to 5 years old, 11% of you have a brand new system at less than 2 years old, and 6% of you are getting by with systems 10 years or older. So that was interesting.
Wow, those are workhorses.
Yeah.
10 years or older.
Only 6%, but yeah.
Those must be our customers. We make the good stuff.
That's right.
It sounds like the 39% of the people who don't know, it sounds like those systems are just even too old to remember. So that's
well, it might be a mixed fleet in the sense that they've got probably some systems from 10 years ago, and then as they retire buses and add new buses, and they're getting the newest system, so they've probably got
I was going to say that 39% will be my first stops, my first visits. I'll come in and tell you.
Those are the fun ones. Well, yeah. Look at your backwards compatibility. That's a good thing there. Helps keep costs down.
Nice. Julius, do you have another poll question for us, or are we going into the next videos?
Let's go into the next video. So let's just get through the video in the next Q&A session. And like I said, we'll be here till the top of the hour, but just in case somebody has to leave soon, let's show them the next video.
Sure, thanks.
All right, this one will be a little bit shorter. It'll be 2 minutes. Give me a second here. Sorry, guys, just struggling with something quickly here. Oh, I think I have to close the poll before I can show the video. There we go. All right, so that was a quick sneak peek at two products that are either newly available or soon to come. The first one being the new evidence manager, and actually before that, Aaron talked about the pre and post trip inspection tool. And if you had registered for this webinar after you filled out the form, you probably saw little prompts to encourage you to download a white paper on pre and post trip inspection tools, and a lot of you did, so thanks for that. It's a interesting little white paper, very useful. Of course, it does talk about our product specifically a little bit, but it also outlines overviews the general pains that we hear that people feel with their existing pre and post inspection tools or lack thereof. Okay, so let's have some more questions, and let's also launch the next poll question. Here we go. So this one is about how useful would facial reduction be as a security feature for your bus fleet. Very useful, somewhat useful, not very useful, or not at all useful. So once again, just click on the screen to give us your answers. And in the
Sorry,
meantime,
Julius, and just on that note, you just might want to mention when you think of facial redaction, very similar to the blurring feature that people are currently used to.
right. Okay, we're getting some answers here, and let's get to a question about facial redaction. Why would facial reduction be important to have in a school bus? So I guess this is coming from somebody who's not sure about how useful it could be. Joy, do you want to talk about that one?
Yes, thanks, actually, Julius. So for some people that may not have utilized the blurring features in the past, they wouldn't be too familiar with what facial redaction is. And some of the reasons that folks don't or haven't historically used the blurring feature is because they're not really keen on sharing video outside of the school district and with parents. So with the facial redaction now in the evidence manager, it takes the blurring really to another level so that they can blur out a specific face or an object. But if there's a face or a student moving around, we know kids never stay seated. They're always moving around the bus and moving from seat to seat or potentially running up and down an aisle. You can actually place that redacted or that blurred area on a specific student and even watch them get on the bus and take their seat, and that area will follow the student all the way to wherever they move about on the bus. So realistically, it's important for those who may not know about it that if there hasn't been an instant where you've needed to share a video, if it comes up where you feel it's absolutely critical to share a video with a parent, you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable now that you have the tools to be able to do that.
Excellent. Thanks, Joy. Here's a very topical question. I'll let Andrew answer this. Can we add COVID cleaning inspection report? So this is in reference to the pre and post trip inspection tool that Aaron talked about in the video.
Yeah, understood, Julius. Thank you. The short answer is yes. There's any customized form can be added or eventually then taken away if that's what the call is from the inspection routine, right? We're going to see a world where we're in a constant flux of what's approved one day and then the other day. Paper and pens might be out the door. So it's imperative that the ability to add custom lines into a report, that feature is there, and that's absolutely what you can do with the fit feature.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. We have more questions here, but we are past the bottom of the hour. So like I said, we are going to stick around and answer these questions. But for those of you that had an appointment or need to do something and we're already a few minutes past the bottom of the hour, thank you very much for sticking around for both videos and Q&A sessions. You are now free to go live your lives, the rest of your lives. And for the rest of us, great. Thank you for sticking around. Let's share the results of this poll, and let's get to more of your questions. Okay.
Classic trade show running over hours. Starting late, over hours.
Because we always talk too much, Andrew. That's the problem. But this is actually a good opportunity for any of those who are still online or might have any questions. Even if you have any questions that are, related to what we've shown today, but if there's anything that you're facing in your current daily lives, some problems that you're having, it's new times. We're always interested to hear from our customers and even those who aren't customers and what your daily lives look like. And, you could call it a voice of customer, but when we're designing and developing our solutions in-house, we really try hard to focus on designing and developing based on what actual school districts need. So if you've come across challenges recently or just in the years that there's, not a really clear solution for, we're always happy to hear about that. And if you want to even type it in as a question or share feedback after the session, by all means, we would love the feedback.
Absolutely. And that reminds me, when you leave the webinar, there will be a quick post-webinar survey. It'll be 4 questions.
Oh, perfect.
2 of them are like multiple choice and 2 of them are short answers. So yeah, that's your opportunity to give us feedback, ask some questions, criticize us, go ahead.
Look at those.
What? No, we only like love here,
Yeah.
Julius. Only love.
So yeah,
Look at those poll results. That's good. I think at this point everyone in the game knows facial redaction is huge, and there's tremendous upside to having that in your toolkit.
Yeah, 64% of you said it's very useful, and 32% of you said it's somewhat useful. And 5%.
Did anybody say not useful?
No, just 5%. 5% said not sure. There weren't any not very useful or not at all useful answers at all.
Okay.
So that's awesome.
Good to hear.
And those could be just folks that haven't had an opportunity to use it or know that it was available. So very interesting.
Yeah,
very
absolutely. Good. Okay,
very good.
Let's keep going.
Do you have any more questions for us, Julius?
I do. One from South Carolina, so this will be for Joy. Do the tablets use Wi-Fi to communicate? Is there a mounting cradle on the bus for the tablet?
Very good question. So the tablets will use both, and it really is dependent on what application you're using it for. So typically for the pre-post trip inspections, you don't have to have a cellular plan for that. When the bus comes back in the yard or the inspection is completed, it will connect to your Wi-Fi network and it will load the results of that pre-post trip inspection into a database, or not a database, but a dashboard, so that you can see what the results are and make determinations of what needs to go in for maintenance or is still good, eligible to be released or driven that day. But it is also capable, and when I touched on the navigation capabilities, it does have cellular connectivity as well, and that's what makes it so versatile, is that you've got that cellular and wireless capability. So you can do your live GPS for real-time fleet tracking in the same tablet, and again, your driver time and attendance. And navigation is very, very dependent on cellular net connectivity, because that's delivering predefined driver directions or route information to your driver while they're navigating. So very good question. I hope I answered it.
Thank you, Joey. Yeah, I think that was a great answer. Andrew, we have a comment and a question from the Mid-Atlantic here. So the comment is, Billy uses pen and paper as our video devices. This came up right around the time when we were asking how old your video systems are. So yeah, I think you need to give Philly a call, Andrew. And the question is...
I thought you said Billy. I was confused, but sorry about that.
Oh,
sorry
no,
to interrupt.
Philadelphia, the city of breath.
Philly, yeah. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Come on, Philly. You're one of my favorite cities in that place, and on paper and pens. But go ahead. What's the question, Julius?
The question is about the pre and post inspection app. Sorry, where was it here? Yeah, when does the inspection report download to our software, or do I have to purchase new software? I think Joy partially answered that question, but maybe you.
Yeah, Joy, that. That's a great question too, though. We'd be happy to circle offline with whoever asked that, and we can figure something out. That's the big thing too. It's always all about working together, find a solution, right? So, great question.
It does, and just to touch on that a little bit, there's the software is loaded onto the tablets itself, which provides the forms, right? So you can have multiple forms available depending on even the type of vehicle that you're inspecting. And then that loads to basically a dashboard-based software that the administrators would be using. So the administrators use the desktop or web-based software to build or customize the forms, but also to retrieve the data or the information. So it all comes with the tablet. The tablet's loaded with the software, and then they would have another web-based software that they use for administration purposes.
Excellent. And as I'm scrambling to cross off questions, we asked
anybody who's trying to stump Joy. Anybody who's trying to stump Joy isn't gonna get to stump chance.
Oh, this is fun.
And forgive
we need to do a Jeopardy session, maybe.
Yeah, with the music and everything. I'll be your Alex.
Absolutely. You could be Alex.
Yeah. Can the driver make changes to the inspection form?
May I?
Sure.
Okay. So technically, if you wanted to give the driver the capability to change the inspection form, you could, but they would need access to the web-based administrative software. Okay. So it's a permission-based. So if you give a specific driver login access into the web-based software, then they could go in and make changes on the fly. However, most drivers wouldn't even have access to the site. All they're needing to see is to take their tablet, turn it on, log in, take it around the bus, go do their inspection, check it on, check it off, and then complete it, and it uploads. So the goal is for drivers not to have to take on more than they already do. We want them to be able to actually complete the inspections in a timely fashion, so it's not painful for them and not have to, do more than they do already. So it's very simple, very, very simple for drivers.
Okay.
So the short answer is yes, they could if you wanted them to, but the key administrator would have to give the permission.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Julie, is it okay if I ask Joy a question on the fit?
Go.
Fit as well?
Uh-oh.
Joy,
it's a really hard one.
This is a bit of a softball, but Joy, you've had a chance to see the pre and post trip forms, right? You've seen the software work its magic in person. Are you of my opinion, it's very intuitive. Again, it's easy to use. The wording is easy. It's take a picture, it's get a reading or whatever, and it would be easy for a driver to use.
It is intuitive, and it's easy for the drivers to use. So you can essentially rearrange the questions to meet how a driver would typically perform their inspections. But what's also neat about it is you've got different ways of asking the question so that the driver or the person doing the inspection gives their honest answer of what they're really seeing or is occurring. They answer it, and then once they load it and those results are analyzed, it's the administrators or the system that's making the decision on whether something is a pass or a fail. So you're not leaving it up to the drivers to necessarily make those decisions. And also, when you're looking at inspection forms, one of the things that people commonly say is that they become redundant. The drivers have the answers memorized, so they just check them off, check it off. And realistically, what's the point of doing an inspection if it's not actually accurate? So you can reorder the questions.
Especially safety inspection, right? That you want to make sure you have full attention when you're doing a safety inspection.
Absolutely, it's safety. So you can randomly say, as you're going around the vehicle, randomly say, okay, we'll take a picture. Take a picture of this area of the tire or of the brake light, just randomly. So it proves that they were also proves auditing purposes, they were in that area, but it also switches it up a little bit. And one thing to note, and forgive me, the video was a little while ago, but it's based on GPS coordinates. So as that driver walks around the bus, those GPS coordinates are captured along with timing. So you can do an audit.
Like a touch wand, right? Like a little touch wand, built-in touch wand.
It is, but you don't have the equipment of a touch wand. And that's what's important is it's extra equipment that has to be maintained. So the tablet's just nice and tidy, and it does the work for you in the sense that it uploads the results. And that GPS information for auditing is critical.
Another softball for you, Joy. Another softball.
That last one wasn't that soft, but go on.
I know, but what about
Sorry, Andrew,
if I'm running a garage?
Sorry, hold on, because I got something pretty much on the same topic, both a comment and a question from Virginia here, actually. So first, my quick comment is, you were mentioning taking pictures with the tablet as proof. That's I know one of our customers is doing that already, and I forgot where they're from, but they're mentioned in that white paper that I talked about earlier. This is the case of at the end of the trip, the bus driver has to take pictures of the empty bus, right, of the empty seats, just to make sure that all the kids are off the bus. So that was a use case that came into my mind when you mentioned taking pictures. And then the question from Virginia is the tablet just a checkoff, or do they have to aim the tablet towards a bullet on the bus to prove they check that particular area? So again, I think we kind of answered that question, but if there's anything else you want to add to that, then go ahead.
It's just a checkup on the form. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
No, you're fine, Joy. I just want to get back to my softball.
Oh wait, so it is just that they're checking off the list as they walk around the bus. But it's one thing, a driver could just sit in their seat and they could check a form, or they could check the boxes on a tablet form. The key is that tablet has the GPS capability. So as the driver moves around the bus to inspect those key areas, that the travel is captured, so you can see the coordinates changing, but also the timing that it takes to complete the audits. Now, what you'll see is if you've got 100 inspections being done or 100 drivers, you're going to be able to capture an average and know, well, on any given day, it takes between 8 and 9 minutes to do an inspection, maybe a little bit longer because they were asked to take a random picture to do that. And it's easy to use, but it shouldn't take them too long. But then if you find when you're doing your audit that something took 2 minutes to do an inspection, well, you might want to start monitoring that inspection report. Is that a one of, and I pushed the wrong button and submitted? Or do I need to drill down a little bit and see what the GPS coordinates are looking like, as well as the timing, and start looking at maybe past reports to see if somebody's just, putting their feet up on the dash and doing their inspection. We know it's hot out there, especially in the south. So if I had the option to sit on an air-conditioned bus and do my inspections, or a quick walk around and then check it off when I come back, it's human nature. I would probably do that. It is. I know it's hot, so it forces them to do those inspections and even take those pictures. My recommendation really would be to sit in on a quick webinar overview where we can show you what the inspection forms look like and how the criteria is asked and the questions are answered, and that will give you a pretty good appreciation that. In my mind, I would say the foolproof. Nothing is foolproof, but there. I would challenge anybody to get around that system.
That's you hit that head on. I think, Julius, I'm keeping score at home. I think that's 2 questions out of the South Carolina and then 2 questions out of the Mid Atlantic. Is there a tiebreaker?
Need a tiebreaker.
A tiebreaker. All right. Well, let's see. So this is the inevitable question. Just let me see where it's from. Ooh, it's from South Carolina, and it's.
Come on.
What is the cost for both new items? Ooh, that's a big one.
That's a good way to put. Oh, I think no, we're all still here. Well, just it comes down to the package that we're looking to build out, right? With, like we talked about earlier, with install, where are we going to be mounting it, if it's going to be mounted. So each project is a little different. But yeah, that's definitely something that we'd be happy to jump in offline with people with. Sorry to answer for you, Joy, but that's probably where we would go with up north there.
And I think I heard Joy drop off, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry.
you are? Okay, I heard a little beep, so I was afraid that you dropped off. Okay, good, you're here.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Andrew, thanks. I don't have the price books built into my small brain. It's already filled with features and functionality. So, you know, my scroll only moves so quick.
We'll get a package. So.
You know, I think we answered almost all the questions here. We got 2 more from the Peanut Gallery in Philadelphia. One says, "No mention of the great Florida Gators." That was when Andrew, when you were talking about.
Oh right, you know what? I got a Gator fan up in Philadelphia, so he didn't like me not mentioning them amongst the SEC teams. But I got a lot of love for Gainesville down there. Yeah, they've had some really good. They're always a good team.
Yeah, and the same fan said, "Will we have college football this fall?" And you know, I'm Canadian. I don't get all this state college football fandom.
That's a poll question. That's a poll question that the kids want to know. I think you will see college football later in the fall. To what degree would it look like? I don't know, but I think it'll come back. It just might be empty stadiums, which would be totally weird, but who knows?
I don't know, Andrew. I'm putting my money on fly fishing.
Yeah,
so
fly
it's
fishing.
Sore arms for everybody.
Full rivers. Yeah, no, I think both territories get outside, and they love the great outdoors. So
absolutely. And when I make it back to the south, we're gonna need to see. I'm gonna find my suitcase ready portable fly fishing rod. There's my challenge. They've got nice rivers down there. Exactly.
You're gonna be taking 3-week trips at a time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. Really, I'm working. I'm not fishing when we go to the conferences.
Instead of a rental car, you'll get a rental canoe, rental kayak. Just travel down.
Perfect. Yeah. We'll take this offline just in case the boss lady's listening, right?
Exactly. All right. Well, hey, that was.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks.
Look forward to your feedback, and thanks for attending.
Excellent.
Yeah. Great questions, and happy to continue on in the. I gotta get a game of chess in, but then we can continue on later in the hotel lobby.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll see you there.
Please fill out the survey as you leave, and then look for a follow-up email from us tomorrow that'll have a link to the recording of this webinar, as well as some other useful links about the products and the issues that they solve. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joy. Thanks, Andrew. Great job.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Julius.